Hello, everybody. It's good to be here again to be with you guys. My name is Efi Obaro for Efi's Ministries, Prophetic Daughters, Sons for Nations. Today, we're going to be talking about nations. So, God has been involved in governing the world. I'm here to talk about this with my very good friend, very good brother. His name is Brother Tochukwu. So, Brother Tochukwu, you are welcome. I hope I pronounced that name properly.
It's Tochukwu Ifemene.
Tochukwu Ifemene. So, I'm here to actually talk about governance. Okay. God has been involved in governance. Is he still involved?
Yeah. So, if you look at how creation started,
okay,
and how men began to govern themselves, when they said, let my people go that they may serve you, or God told Abraham that I will raise a nation out of you, okay? And the nation started by the time Jacob had the sons. He said, 2 nations are in your womb. He said, one will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. He said 2 nations are in your womb. So 2 different kinds of people are in your womb. 2 different kinds of paradigms are in your womb. And when those 2 children were born, it was said that one was a contemplative one and another one was a man of the field. Okay? And by the time they started growing, what we have in this world now, one became 12 tribes, okay? Another one became a nation and a duke, and they started having kingdoms. In fact, one of the first mention of dukes and kingdoms was from the people of Esau. Okay, so nations started from those 2 young men. Okay, and at a point in time, we're also hearing, I think in Genesis, when I say there's a point where God now divided the face of languages that went around the whole world, and people started speaking different languages. Wow. Then when you now begin to also look at the chronicles of how the Bible started evolving, you hear a book of Exodus, a people going out to stay distinctively as a nation. By the time they were in Deuteronomy, a nation had been formed. They were just a group of families, community, and clan. Now they were not given a distinct laws to govern them. Meanwhile, there were other nationalities around them. Okay, at a point you hear them saying that judges were ruling over them. That is among the children of Israel. At a point they say, Samuel, your children are not like you. Therefore, give us a king like other nations. And that was how Israel also starts having kings like other nations. And God told them, you see, anytime you do like this, I'll punish you, and you go to a foreign land and everything. That also became the time when anytime Israel is not following the Lord very well, you see them, they will be punished, they will be scattered abroad, then later they will come back again. So you see a progression of first kings. From Samuel, we have kings. You have kings in First Kings, Second Kings. Chronicle was just a book of how those kings live. Then you now had the prophetic. But remember, Samuel was a prophet that ushered in the prophetic. Then after that, you now see prophets also coming again that were heralding the coming in of Christ. Okay? And if you also look into that again, Christ now came to establish a kingdom. Right? Now, in the midst of all this narrative that I would just want to bring, like biblically, you see that nation building. Why is it that every clan or every group of indigenous set of people, they have their own language, they have their own unique cultural systems, they have things that identify them from even the colors of what they wear. Why is it that different nations like that all over the world have this kind of difference? You know why? Next one, they say that God does it so that people will feel after him, if by any means they may come to him, right? So that is God's way of bringing diversity on earth. That is why every culture believes in a supreme being. Sometimes they call it Chi, they call it God, they call it different kind of thing, but at the end of the day, they know. Now, if you see a nation that is well governed, there's something you're going to see as a characteristic of everybody that's involved in the process. Everybody involved in the process, what you call leaders, right?
Yeah.
It could be political leaders, it could be secondary school leader, they could be a community leader, they can even be a father, head of a home. You will discover that there's a strong upholding of certain kind of what we call values or characters that upholds them and makes them distinct. Now, if you check most nations in the world now, that want to have good governance for their people, if you check some of them at their root foundation, they started it because they wanted to give the best of their citizens. But you always notice too that there was a strong acknowledgement to a divine being. And they do not want to disappoint that divine being. And they write the highest set of characters and its skills, whether supernatural or physical, from that same being, for the sake of the generality of their people. You see it everywhere development has happened. Yeah? So God has always been involved. In fact, some people, they don't know it passively. They can say they are Confucius nations, they are Islamic nations, they are Christian nations, or whatever appellations they use. But one thing is sure, they have a heart that wants to do the highest good for their people. People in non-context now, you now call them citizens, right?
Yeah.
So God has always been in the business of governance.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you talked about the prophetic in governance.
Yeah.
So these prophets, God makes them understand what He wants for the nation, and then He speaks through them to the nations, to the leaders.
Yeah.
How